welcome to day 2 of CES 2017 at the CNET stage. I'm Isaac Turner. I'm joined once again by Roger Cheng and Ben Fox-Rubin for a giganto-sized episode of our excellent bite-sized news podcast, The 359. If you're new to the show, Roger and Ben break down the most important tech stories in about 4 minutes. Today, we'll be talking for a lot more than 4 minutes. Let's talk about T-Mobile. First up, Roger, you're a T-Mobile expert. Let's talk about what they introduced last night.
It's really just a set of discounts, set of incentives really to get you to switch to their unlimited data plan. You know, the first thing is basically removing taxes and fees. So if whatever the advertised rate is, whether it's $40, $70 for your plan, is exactly what you pay, right? In your phone bill, you probably see a listing for the actual rate and then like a whole number of other line items adding up to a huge, huge bill. And so what they're trying to do is simplify that so what you see is what you get.
So they basically cut the price again.
Yes, actually,
okay.
they essentially cut the price and absorb the taxes themselves.
Yeah, so I've seen headlines reading, and this is incorrect. They've eliminated taxes, and
by the way, my headline had it in quotes, which is why I explained it.
You can't like avoid taxes. What's happening,
Right.
like you were saying, Ben, is that they've taken the price of the actual plan,
But
cut it, and then to match.
Arguably, for the customer, ultimately, they do lose they don't have to pay the taxes anymore. So that's, I mean, they're paying taxes, but
yes, you are paying. There are 2 things that are certain, Roger.
Nope.
3 things that are certain. Wait, how many?
Death, taxes.
And T-Mobile John Ledger's wearing pink.
Yeah, well, that magenta.
Oh my!
Actually.
Oh my gosh.
The other feature that they announced, if you use 2 gigs of data or less, they will give you a credit of $10 a month.
A month.
A month, yeah.
So as long as you're on Wi-Fi and you're not like bogging down their network, they're going to give you another discount.
Well, it's not really designed for people who are heavy users, right? This is for like your father, grandfather, someone who doesn't use a phone that much, who really just texts or emails, and 2 gigs of data is plenty of data for them. And so I think what this is really, this isn't really a game changer at all. What this is fixing the issues with the last T-Mobile One announcement, right? When they first said, we're going to move to unlimited data, everyone's going to go unlimited data, people were pissed, right? People weren't happy about that because that was one price. Like if I wanted a cheaper plan with less data, I no longer had that option. So what T-Mobile did yesterday was offer enough incentives to get everyone to switch onto that plan.
Okay, so we've got their simplified plans when it comes to that. There's also the idea that this is when there are another uncarrier movements.
Yes.
They've stopped numbering these things. I've read your article, right? Because they were like up to uncarrier 12. And
well, this would have been uncarrier 13. And
That's
yeah, at some point when you're going to go uncarrier 20, 25, it's going to sound really old and dumb, right?
Well, my question is, like, are they making any money? They keep doing these added incentives. It seems like they're getting additional customers, but is it working for them? Is this like helping the bottom line at all?
Financially speaking, they're actually doing pretty well.
Okay.
They've actually, look, the deal with the limited plan is it did raise the price for a lot of people. If they were to jump into a new plan now, it's more expensive than they would have if they had a basic plan. So what
Hence that 2 gig model.
Exactly. So they've actually kind of stabilized how much money they've made. After all the crazy incentives that they threw in early, like in the uncarrier movement, they've actually started to make money. It's starting to pay off for them.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'm a Verizon customer, though. Are they going to start giving me free pizza?
Well, I don't think Verizon's going to be
T-Mobile backed out of that free pizza deal with
I
Domino's.
know, but I want free pizza.
Took, what, a day or 2?
It took about 2 weeks. That was dead. So the question, like
That's less than 2 weeks.
You're at Verizon. So the question is, will other other carriers follow suit? Like, I mean, T-Mobile every now and then they seem to like rattle the cages of the wireless carriers to the point that they change what they're doing. So, do you think that this is going to change what Verizon or AT&T or Sprint does?
Well, you saw Sprint already kind of move to unlimited plan, and you know Verizon has said they're still not going to do it. But I mean, if you look at the history of what T-Mobile has done in terms of the various moves, kill subsidies, kill contracts, the rest of the industry has moved in that direction, and really, T-Mobile's hoping that we get to this point where all mobile data is unlimited.
You're watching the video version of the 359 on the podcast. It looks like Roger's about to drop a beat because he's got
That's
the mic
right.
real
Oh
close.
yeah.
Most people hold the mic at the bottom, but he's dropping a beat right now.
Wow.
And I'm done.
Okay, so yeah, this is the super extended giganto episode of 359, and you luckily
And
can you beatbox the 359?
we had a special
That was
appearance
it.
of Brian Van Gelden, so thank you very much for showing up.
He showed up.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep talking about this. So you had John Ledger on stage.
Yep.
And did he offer you any style tips? The man in magenta.
Yeah, well, I've got bright yellow shoes. So there he is. Yeah, I've got bright yellow shoes, which he took offense to because it's all these carrier guys only see colors in like branding. Like if I'm wearing blue, I'm AT&T. If I'm wearing red, We're Verizon apparently.
Oh, is that why you flipped me off when I was wearing that yellow shirt?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that didn't actually happen. But that actually
So he's
sounds
like,
something that would happen.
he's like,
doesn't
you
it?
should get new shoes.
Don't wear, yeah, you shouldn't wear yellow.
By the way, my shoes are awesome, and I'm not changing
I
them.
like the yellow and black shoes. You
Thank
look like
you.
Bumblebee.
Thank
It's a
you.
good thing. That's why you're called Roger the Bumblebee Cheng.
Did we
I
just
will be
nickname this
now,
guy?
and that is so sad.
You're now the Bumblebee. We got Fox. We got the Wolf. It's
We
all
got
going.
I as the wolf, of course.
The wimpiest nickname. What the
I like it.
But
I
I
think
do-
it's.
I do
I think it
sting-
actually. It's
sting
very
like a bee.
becoming of you.
Bumblebee
So
is second in command.
you
of the
look great,
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee. You look great.
Okay, let's talk about robots. Okay,
Yes.
guys, robots are a huge trend at CES this year. We've seen all kinds of things. LG's got like a whole bunch of them at their booth. There's like Lynx, the human Alexa, the humanoid Alexa thing. Where do you want to start on this? I think LG's got the most interesting things because they're like, we got robots and this is now going to be normal.
Yeah. Well, look, so that's the thing. I kind of take some issue with it. The hub robot that they announced, I thought it moved around, and it's really
It
just
does
a
move. It
like it has a
but it
face.
doesn't move around. It has a face.
It has a
it's-
face, but it doesn't move around. It'll like.
Is that really a robot,
Hang on,
or is it
so-
just a speaker with a cool little gimmick?
The actual device, the hub, it's like this little like two-part snowman if you look at it that way.
Right.
And it does wiggle and it can turn around, but it can't like drive itself
I feel
to
like
you.
my
Okay, but
9-month-old
what's
has
the
something
point of
similar.
what's the point of doing that? Like, what exactly? Why would you give the thing a face? if
So
you
actually,
don't-
I talked to them about that, and they said the design was intentional. It was really to create this emotional attachment.
Okay.
And it is cute. It's adorable.
Yeah, so we're seeing that this.
We're seeing
here we
it
go.
now.
There's the hub robot
Look at
right
that thing.
there. And the weird thing is you interface with it on its face. It's a touch screen. It's got two little eyes on it, and it's just a fingerprint magnet.
I feel like I'm
So-
doing something rude when I'm touching its face. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
You're touching
I'm
its
sorry.
face to interact
that's
with
not
it. You know
cool.
what? I'm okay. Fine. I'm sold. I'm sold. I want to.
Explain.
I want to swaddle this thing. I feel emotionally connected with it now. This really feels very
You know,
good for
you're
me.
joking about the emotional connection, but that seems to be a huge thing that these companies are trying to do is to have an actual
Oh,
connection
totally.
to these robots.
Yes.
Like
And
that's the,
people will personify these things if they can interact with them in a certain way. Absolutely. But
I mean, that's the
I
whole-
think this is like maybe it's a little too simplistic to just give it two simple little eyes. I don't really see how that works exactly, but maybe people really like it.
There's
I don't
also
know.
right now we're seeing a video of the airport vacuum cleaner robot, which they didn't mention on their keynote, but that is a thing, and they didn't announce any partnerships.
Also a vacuum
Wait,
cleaner.
well, what,
That- this
what
one,
makes
not
it,
the-
what
not the
makes it a
AirBot.
robot and not just
a vacuum.
a vacuum cleaner?
It's got a face.
Oh,
I think that's the
it.
actual. What's the line? Does
That
it
the
have
criteria?
to move? Or does it have
To
have
make it a
face?
robot?
Yeah.
As a face?
I don't know.
Well,
Have you
there's-
seen Pepper on the floor? I like Pepper. Pepper moves around.
robot,
It looks
not-
like a robot. It looks
right.
like what you would think a robot is. It's got like this touch panel on
Oh,
its
yes.
chest.
And
that
it
you
looks
can
very
interact with it.
non-threatening, right? It's a very friendly
That was
face.
the whole
It's-
intention is
yeah.
that like it's super friendly. But granted, if I bumped into Pepper
Right.
in like a dark back alley somewhere and like Pepper was angry, I think that would be terrifying because
what-
it's so cute looking.
You bring up Pepper, and that's great because our reporter Katie Collins actually managed to play a game of Cards Against Humanity against
All right,
Pepper.
now, the best part about Cards Against Humanity is just how vile it can get.
Yes.
So how can Pepper play Cards Against Humanity? Is it programmed to be vile and awful? And also that means it's going to be the alien
So
theory.
it doesn't
There you go.
actually, it doesn't offer the answers.
Okay.
It gives you the combination, and you're supposed to select it, and it acts as the judge. It's like the MC, right? So you give the answers, and it judges which is the funniest.
How is Pepper qualified?
Oh,
to
it's
be-
it's qualified.
But how?
So it has a database of basically every single term and every combination, and it can do that because it's a robot, right? And it sort of stacks it against the best answers, the answers
I
that
would
get the
like
best
to try
responses.
that. That
and
sounds
actually
kind of
chooses.
cool.
So it's basically using big data.
But that just means that somebody has prejudged the best combinations and told this robot this is the way to go. That's
Yeah, I mean,
So-
but it is based off of sort of like crowdsourced.
Can that? Oh, so they can
data.
change then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about that too is that like why would Pepper do Cards Against Humanity? It's another one of the like going back to the original point of we want to make these things have an emotional connection. We want people to personify them in a certain way. We want people to keep interacting with this stuff. So that's why you see certain little things like Cards Against Humanity. That's why Alexa tells jokes and different things like that. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that kind of stuff from robots, voice assistants, just to get people a little more comfortable with this stuff. You know, like it's still very new to a lot of folks.
I find this very troubling because the thing is, remember the Sony Aibo dog robot? People
Oh,
had
yeah.
a whole bunch of these
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and the thing is, they're becoming sad because they're trying to repair them, and there's no longer parts. So they have an emotional connection to these devices, and they're dying. So the thing is, you should buy 20 or 3D print the parts that people are actually 3D printing parts to save their Aibos. So these robots that people are
That's
having attachments.
incredible.
Yeah, because you're creating this emotional attachment. You're also causing grief with people. So be aware of that. You're buying delayed sadness anytime you buy anything.
Oh my God!
All
I
right,
hope
so-
people don't start burying their robot dogs.
They recycle them. Let's go into the next big thing. We've got all kinds of stuff. It's on Ben's list. What are we talking about here?
So the next big thing was yesterday with Brian Cooley and Lindsay Turrentine. It was this whole big effort about the smart home. How do we get the smart home to be much more significant? One of the points that I thought was really interesting that was mentioned there was a lot of these smart home and home automation features, maybe 6 or 7% of the US population has actually interacted with them so far. Upwards of 90% of folks haven't talked to Alexa. They don't really know what a lot of this stuff is. They don't know how to turn on and off their lights using their voice. So there's this enormous amount of opportunity to get people to really start using the smart home a lot more. So we'll see if it happens.
You also brought up that, security concerns, right? That was sort of one of the big issues?
Yeah, they showed this Mr. Robot video on stage that was just kind of this terrifying potential of everything that could possibly go wrong in a fully integrated smart home, where this woman was in the shower. Well, you know, some hacker like made it really, really hot, and she had to like get out of the shower. All of a sudden, the alarms were blasting, and she was on the phone with some tech somewhere, and they said, "Well, you know, just unplug it, unplug the system." You'd be like, "There's nothing to unplug; it's all in the walls." So eventually, she just had to leave her house. And, you know, the Mr. Robot people took over, whatever. But this was just this kind of scary notion of, you know, as we automate more things, as we add more Wi-Fi connections into things, like a worst case scenario. And, like, it could be, you know, potentially even worse than that.
This isn't,
like
this
more
isn't even a
annoying.
worst case scenario, though, right? Like, we saw that with a botnet attack last year, right? These connected devices were all kind of put together as sort of an army of botnets that took down the internet, right? So there's definitely, I think, a legitimate threat there. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people haven't tried this stuff. It's a little scary, right?
Yeah,
It's a little
so
intimidating. And the privacy concerns are legitimate.
Yeah, and in fairness to Google and Amazon, who are on stage, they said anytime we develop these platforms, we do it with security is paramount. You know, they're obviously very mindful of the fact that this is new technology. They want to get people interested in it, and they want to get people comfortable with it.
Well, look, the thing of it is, yes, Google and Amazon, these big companies have lots of resources to put into security. Where you get into trouble is with a lot of these smaller companies that are building products that don't have the resources for security. You know, their focus is building a product, getting it out, selling it. I imagine for a lot of them, security and privacy are fairly low on the totem pole. They may not say that. They may not say that, but it's clear that a lot of these companies are not thinking about security as much as they should.
Google specifically referenced that, and they said that it's incumbent on us to really try to find these smaller companies and help them and give them the tools that they need, because it doesn't help us if there are these botnet attacks, if it really kind of hurts that situation. One other thing that I want to mention that was, you know, kind of referenced at the next big thing was this idea of like, what does the future smart home look like? And it's basically everything is automated. So we talked about like what could go wrong if everything is automated. Well, we had this cool video about, well, you know, here it is right here. You basically walk to your door, it unlocks, it opens for you. The lights turn on, the blinds change exactly how you want them to be. The oven turns on, and you know you can start cooking your food. The refrigerator tells you what may or may not actually start going bad. So maybe you want to make a salad tonight, something like that. So it was all, you know, very integrated from front to back, and I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Obviously, we're a couple of years away from that, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you want to live in a house like that?
Of course I do. I live in a house like that now.
No.
You don't want that?
No.
All right, we're actually running out of time. You believe this?
Move it on.
All right, let's talk about smart pajamas. Is that we're talking about $200 PJs?
We are talking about Under Armour.
Okay, tell me about it, because I saw this and I'm like, why would you pay $200 for PJs? Because, you know, you're comfy, but $200.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is sleepwear technology, apparently. These are some very expensive pajamas. About
Are
100.
they connected?
They're not connected. Fortunately, the hackers
PJs
cannot get to your pajamas.
Good to know.
There's no app
Fortunately.
for it.
No, what it does, it's
Yes.
got this special fabric that absorbs some of the far infrared heat that your body emits and transfers it back in. And it's supposed to promote better sleep and better body recovery.
Now, this is somehow tied to Tom Brady, the Patriots quarterback. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so Under Armour partnered with Tom Brady to basically pitch this. This is going to be the subject of the Under Armour keynote. The CEO is speaking later today at the show.
So Tom Brady is pitching PJs for Under Armour. Is this correct? And this is
This is correct.
And this,
to help
this is where
you-
technology is going now.
It's called the athlete recovery sleepwear.
so-
This is like, you know,
And
to help
sleep-
you
and
recover
sleep
a bit.
technology is a hot trend, right? You see,
Well, yeah, 'cause
you know,
you have the heat back.
iPhone and iPhone and
Sorry, guys.
no,
We've
look,
derailed.
a lot of these companies are looking to, you know, there are motion trackers for sleep. They're in the bed, you know. There is a night mode or night vision for night shift. What is night mode for iPhone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
right.
the technology companies are increasingly conscious of the fact that people need to get more sleep, better sleep. And as a father of a 9-month-old, I completely agree and hope one day that actually happens.
Do we try to cram in the PC talk right now? What do you think, guys?
Of course.
All right,
So
let's
this
talk
is the
about-
359.
Would
Let's
you
cram in
believe
as much as
that
possible.
we're talking about PCs, personal computers, right now.
No.
Okay, so there's a
Let's
Dell.
stop.
The Dell. There's a Dell Latitude 7285. It's one of the first laptops from Dell that actually has a wireless charging base. I've seen that stuff on the
that's
floor
kinda cool.
for the longest time. Intel's always like, wireless charging. We're gonna have it on the laptop. I'm like, when? It finally happened.
Wait. But it's a fairly large base. I mean,
Well, yes.
you just keep it there. Why don't you just plug it in? It's not
come
that.
on,
it's
Roger.
not that much harder to plug
What
it in.
fun are you?
Come on.
What is your beef with wireless charging?
I know. I love wireless charging. It makes sense for phones where you could move them around and like you could charge it at Starbucks or whatever. But this is just moving the charging plate around. If you took the laptop,
Well, you'd
with
have
you,
multiple plates, I'd imagine. That way you can put your device down right
How
away.
many plates are you gonna have?
3.
Maybe you could buy a laptop bag for your plate.
Yeah, a separate bag though.
Okay, but you guys are ridiculing this. I find it to be a good thing.
I thought it was
because
cool.
When I go to my desk, I put my laptop down. I don't want to plug in a whole bunch of stuff. If I could have wireless USB, which is not a thing.
By the way, the plate has to be plugged in.
well, yes,
you
of
realize
course, just
that,
like
right?
a Qi charger.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yes, no wireless charging is
It's-
truly wireless. It's not
there
like it's
we
like a
go.
Tesla situation where they're just
I just
firing.
think it makes less sense for a computer than it does for a phone.
I don't agree at all. I think those things should be built into desks at some point where you can just put that down. Yep, that's the Dell. There we go. It's a 2-in-1. They're taking it apart right now in the video, and there's supposed to be a charging plate as well for it. I still think that wireless charging, because
There you go.
put it
There's
right
a.
down.
Oh, look at that.
And could you imagine? if
Look
you
at
go-
that baby.
let's
Woo!
say- how about
Man
this?
alive.
Imagine you go to a boardroom and there's all of these charging plates instead of having like these ridiculous proprietary
You know what?
MagSafe or whatever else.
You have a good point. If they have them built into desks, that sort of integrated vision of the future, that I can get behind for
All right,
sure.
Let's talk about future stuff a little bit more. Let's hit Razer because they had a
Insane.
crazy laptop called Project Valerie. It's a concept device. Now Razer they show lots of concept devices, right? And sometimes they never come out, but then you're like, Razer won't come out with this, and here's their laptops. They're awesome. And so we've got this 3-screened laptop, and the
What?
Yes. So
Oh, yeah.
those 2 screens pop off the sides, and this is enormous. They actually have it on the show floor. There's no plan for this to actually come out, by the way. There's no product release date. This is not meant to. be a thing.
I feel like a lot of these gaming laptop companies, that's what they do at these shows. They come out with the craziest, funkiest product you can find to get the attention, and then
It's like
maybe,
laptop porn.
and then maybe it shows up. We'll see. I mean, it is pretty amazing. I'm not even a gamer, and I kind of want one. It's fantastic looking.
What do
I
you
like
think,
the
Ben?
idea. I don't think I would ever buy it.
Okay, I think that one day when they're like rollable, I see that happening a lot. But I do like the idea that they bothered to do it because that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's great engineering. You're right. It's a nice showpiece. It gets their attention. But if they find out that people actually want this, Razer's crazy enough to do it. I think
Yeah, absolutely.
because they might charge like $7,000 for this. People are like, yeah,
Someone will buy it. Gamers will buy that thing.
yeah. Or if you're like you do a lot of CAD work or video editing, like you have this thing on you. I like it.
If you're writing stories for CNET.
Yes. 3 giant.
I could
screens.
actually see how I would use that. That would be awesome.
I like it. Anyway, I think that's going to have to wrap it up for us, guys. You think so? All right. All right. You can find the 359 on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and
Of course.
CNET.com for the 359 podcast. I'm Ayaz Akhtar.
I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Thanks for watching.